In this lesson we're going to look at overtime and how to calculate overtime. So people can be paid overtime when they work extra hours or unsociable hours. Things like the weekend, sometimes you get overtime, maybe late at night, Sundays in particular you get overtime rates. Now common rates of overtime are things like this: double time, time and a half and time and a quarter. So usually when you get paid for a job you've got an hourly rate, so you might get £5 an hour. Well, that'd be under the minimum wage, so maybe we'll increase that to maybe, say you get £9 an hour. Now a double time rate would double that, so instead of getting £9 an hour you might get £18 an hour, so it would be double time. So the easy way to calculate double time is multiply your normal rate by 2. For time and a half calculation, that's not as good as double time. That means you get what you normally get plus a half extra. So say for example you were getting £8 an hour. Now you would get not double that, but that plus a half. So 8 plus a half would be 8 add 4, which is 12. Now the easy way to get the answer to how much you were going to get is to multiply by 1.5. If you do 8 times 1.5 you'll get 12, and that will calculate your rate for time and a half. And the same principles for time and a quarter. To work out what you would get for time and a quarter, you get your normal time plus a quarter, so you would times by 1.25. Okay, so let's look at some calculations you might have to do. So Mark works as a banker for £7.15 for every hour he works. He works 7 hours each day from Monday to Friday. On Saturday he works 4 hours at double time, so he gets extra on the Saturday. How much does he paid at the basic rate? Now the basic pay is nothing to do with your overtime, it's just your normal rate. So he gets £7.15 every hour, and he works 7 hours a day for 5 days. So basically you have to work out how many hours he works. So 7 hours a day for 5 days, that's 35 hours. So if we take 35 times £7.15 and times them, you get your answer for your basic pay. So he gets £250.25 for his week's work. Now he does 4 hours at double time. So double time is double this amount. So work out the overtime rate first. Times by 2, and he's getting £14.30 every hour. That's his double time rate. And how many hours is he working? Well, it says he works 4 hours at this rate. So 4 times that, £57.20. And if you wanted to calculate his total pay for that week, you would add these two numbers together, the basic pay plus the extra overtime. Okay, let's look at this example. Tom works as a landscaper for £11 an hour. For working on a Saturday, he gets paid time and a half. How much did he get for 9 hours on Saturday? So that's 9 hours at his time and a half rate. So let's work that out first. Time and a half rate. Well, his time and a half rate is 11 plus a half of 11. Or you could just multiply by 1.5. So 11 times 1.5, that's £16.50 per hour. Now if you didn't have a calculator, what you could do is just get your £11 and add on a half of 11, which is £5.50, and that gets your hourly rate if there was no calculator there. Okay, so he's getting £16.50 every hour, and he's working for 9 hours, so if you times that by 9, you'll get your answer. Okay, final question on this. Steve works as a tennis coach for £9.40 per hour. He works 20 hours per week at the basic rate, 5 hours on a Saturday at time and a half, and 4 hours on a Sunday at double time. How much did he get paid all week? So there's quite a lot going on here. I would break it into wee chunks. Let's work out his 20 hours per week first, his basic rate. So I always like to put wee headings. So I'm going to work out his basic first. So that's really just 20 hours at £9.40. Put it into your calculator, 188. Right, next we'll move on to the Saturday. Put a wee heading, Saturday. Now we need to work out what his overtime rate is, because he's getting time and a half on a Saturday. So if I multiply the 940 by 1.5, I'll get my answer. So he's getting £14.10 on the Saturday for every hour he works, but he's working 5 hours. So times it by 5, and that's what you get on the Saturday. Okay, let's put a wee heading for Sunday. Now Sunday is getting double time, so let's work out the overtime rate. What do you do to the £9.40? Well, you double it, so times by 2. And he's getting £18.80 on the Sunday for every hour he works. How many hours is he working? 4. So do 4 lots of that, and you get your answer. So we haven't finished yet. It says, how much did he get paid all week? Well, he did this, and this, and this. So you have to add them all up. The 188, the £70.50 for Saturday, and the 75.20 for Sunday. And if you do that correctly, there's your answer.